Let's not keep the division standing up, and let's roll. Let's the bell roll. Because you can't wait. As I mentioned earlier ago, we don't have many years in the MMA world, and while we're here, we want to make the best of it.
All right, Jairzinho, let's jump right into it, man. This fight coming up, it was supposed to happen on February 26th, and then they delayed it to April 4th. Why did they decide to do that?
First, I heard my opponent got something to do with COVID. I don't know what happened or what the reason was, but it has to do with COVID-19. And it gave me more time to prepare, have a better camp. And yeah, I mean, it's all good with me, and I want to be in my best shape for the April of 9. So it was fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. And with this fight, was the February 26th fight, was that kind of a short notice for you?
No, it wasn't short notice. It was good, but as I say, you get more time to prepare in different ways, and for me, it's fine.
All right. Let's talk about your opponent. Marcin, he is number 9 in the rankings. He had like I think 6 straight wins, and then he lost his last fight. Well, what do you think about the matchup?
No, I think it's a good matchup. He's doing his thing. He's been around for a while, so he knows the game and he knows how to play it. So I'm the new guy around. If I have to check according to what I'm seeing, that those guys are longer in the UFC than me. But it's all good, and I like the challenge, and I want to be in my best shape to show the MMA fans or put down a really great performance.
What kind of fighter do you see, like as in his skill set?
I think he's an all-rounder. He can stand up, he can strike, he can roll. He has his jiu-jitsu. He has his Greco wrestling. So it's a little bit it's an all-rounder. I see him as that.
Do you look at him as a big challenge? You know what I mean, especially because he's a all around mixed martial artist.
Yeah, especially I mean he's the top 15. Everybody have his own specialty, and yeah, you doesn't come in the 15 if you're nothing. So I definitely take him serious, and it's a big challenge.
What did you think of his last fight against Volkov? Did you go back and watch it?
I watch it. Yeah, yeah, he almost beat Falkov. So yeah, that fight makes sense. Of course, I watch fights of fighters, and I see a lot of opening blueprints, both sides, and what he's good at as well. So
Were you expecting to fight Tybura, or did you think that you would maybe match up with somebody else before you got this matchup?
now I kind of expect somebody lower ranking than me. I expect that something like that was coming. So I didn't know who it was gonna be, and when the name pops up, I just jump in right in, and I'm like, let's go.
All right. Your last fight against Curtis Blade, you went to the judges with him. What did you
Uh,
think about the performance you had and how the fight played out?
for me, I don't think it was a bad performance. I showed a lot of improvement for my overall game. I'm not there yet as a wrestler because he took me down, tried to keep me down, and the last round especially that worked on my nerves. Like I wanted to get out, and then I kind of blocked myself, but I didn't know how. So of course, after the fight, you watch it again, you watch it and rewatch it, and then you see, okay, I should do this, and as I do to my team, and yeah, we're working on a lot of things, and we keep going forward.
On that side of the sport, the wrestling and the grappling, do you feel still like you're still learning, and in that fight you learned a lot on that side?
Definitely, definitely, I'm still learning, and in a big kind of way, and that fight helped me a lot as well. Show my overall game for myself, and I think also for the MMA fans.
When you go back and watch the footage of your last fight with your coaches, is that something that you do continuously throughout this camp, maybe to kind of get better understanding of like what you need to work on?
No, we do that all the time. We do that all the time. Win or lose, you always go back and say, hey, you should perform there better. You can move there better. You have to be faster on that one, and think better. So as a fighter, there's so many things you got to be think about, and Sometimes it's difficult, but sometimes it can be easy and simple.
When you have the smaller cage at the apex, is it
Yeah.
do you like it or not? Because a lot of people
I
don't.
I love it because you always there. You fight right away. You have to throw hands right away. A lot of fighters like to run around, move around, catch their breath. And if you one on one with someone, you can feel when someone gets tired. So you can throw hands there or you can kick there. But in the smaller cage, you can feel it how the person breathe. So I love it. I've been fighting kickboxing in a 6'6", so the smaller cage wasn't a problem for me, and I love it.
Is it better for, like, let's say a counter striker to be in that smaller cage so you have to press the action?
I mean, for both sides, a counter and an attack striker, it's a you can take in a positive way for the smaller cage.
All right. And training camp, of course, American top team. And anything different, anything new that you've been doing maybe the last couple of months?
I do wrestling a lot. Not that it's new, but it's it's a lot of wrestling since I'm been in American top team, and it's going the right way. I have the good feeling. I made the same thing, no changes, and yeah,
Who
I
are
think
who are the guys that are you're wrestling with every day?
I mean I wrestled with all the heavyweights in American Top Team. King Mo is one of the coaches. Not King. Steve Marco is one of the coaches. Mike Brown. You have Coach Pahumpa. You have Macaron. You have a lot of coaches and teaching MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. So yeah,
With Tybura, either he gets knocked out or he loses by a decision. What do you have planned for him coming up in this fight?
uh, I want to win. That's the only thing that counts. Um, let's move forward to the fight and get that win in the pocket, and then we go from there. I mean, there's a lot of big changes in the heavyweight division, and it's really good up there, and I want to be a part of it.
Do you feel like when you get to the top 10, top 5 in any division that it doesn't matter, of course you want to get a finish, of course you want to get a highlight, but at the end of the day the win is the most important thing and you don't need to worry about being fancy or anything like that.
For me, the most of it is the win is really important, but to get the highlight is the cherry on the pie, So you always want to go in there and give this crazy performance and let them people talk about you all week, and then yeah, I mean it's always nice to get that.
There has been some interesting heavyweight fights, the last couple of months. We had Francis and Cyril Gane fight. That was an interesting fight. What did you
Correct.
think of Ngannou's, grappling and how he used it to win the fight?
No, it was awesome the way he makes the changes from striking to wrestling, and that helps him definitely to win that fight. And it's important as a fighter when you know when to change things up. So he make the difference there, and he takes the win, and he keep his title.
Were you surprised by that? Did you expect him to go in there and wrestle?
Nah, yeah, yeah, I know he's been working on a lot of wrestling, and I wasn't surprised.
Because you come from a long history of striking, right? Kickboxing. And, on the technical side, would you consider Cyril Gane technically better in striking compared to Francis, or are they just different types of strikers?
I think there are different type of strikers, and um, yeah, they are different. I don't think he's the best striker, but he's different than all of us. He jump around, he's bouncy, he's touching. He's not like hitting. You know, so I fought him, so I know what I'm talking about. And I think he can outpoint the fighter. That's easy in the way he's bouncing around. But when it comes to the throw hands strong, I think they're the difference gonna be making. You gotta catch him, so he's fast, he's moving around. So if you don't catch him, you miss, and then you can get tired, and then he outpointed you. So
Or maybe you just need to wrestle him, right? Francis
yeah,
did.
correctly. Or you wrestle him, yeah. But you know something about wrestling, so it was an interesting fight. I learned a lot about it, and I watched it. I didn't blink anytime, I think, and it was exciting fight.
Yeah, it seems like you are a student of the game. You know, you're watching all the heavyweight fights and kind of looking at it from a different view rather than a fan. You know, the fan is just looking for the excitement. You're looking for the technical aspects and you know how to basically beat each guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, not only a student of the game, but also as a fighter, you should watch fights. So you see the blueprints from not only heavyweight fights, but in fighting in general, you can see a lot of things that you can use against your opponents. Maybe you don't need it, but most of the time you can use it. You know, so that's the way I'm watching fights.
Definitely, and you know Francis and his team have been basically going back and forth with the UFC about money. Do you think that could benefit the fighters at the end of the day that he's fighting for more money?
Of course, I mean, it's the only thing you can do for. We don't have 10 years, 12 years, I mean, you're going to be there for what, 5, 6 years, good years, and then the money you earn, you got to create something for yourself so you can go further in life. Because what we do, we fight for what? I've been fighting for 17 years. And then one time you're going to stop fighting, and then you might have the money, you might not. And I think the most important is you have the money so you can go further. You can create something to make more money, and so you can feed your family because you can't fight anymore. So I think Francis have a point there, and yeah. But my opinion on that is I will not step in nobody's business, not in the UFC's business, not in Francis's business. I hope they got this story straight, and they whatever they decide, I hope good for both of them.
You've been fighting for 17 years. How many years have you been making pretty good money?
Since I'm been in the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, before that it was, ah, you know, but since I'm been in the UFC, it's different, and it's the biggest platform in every kind of way. It shows you the difference. So yeah,
In a way, it also put your country on the map, right, with MMA, because before that,
especially
most people did. Probably most people came up to you in America and said they didn't even know that the country
South
even
America,
existed, right?
correctly, because it's in South America, third world country. And about what I was saying about the money, that's a shout out to my management first round. They're doing a pretty good job with the negotiation with the UFC. So I had to say that was good. And yeah, about my country, several country. We've been fighting in the Caribbean, but it's not easy to break through because when you come to the States, it's a bigger world. The level is so high, so to keep up, you gotta be keep both eyes open and just go forward, just train, so you can keep up, and then you might come in the big league as I am. So one side, I'm lucky and I'm blessed that I'm in the position to represent my country on this platform because it's big, it's huge. Let me say it as that, and I appreciate it. Yeah, that people know my country of what I'm doing.
Do you think it would hurt the division if Francis left, or do you feel like it would be the same? There's enough heavyweights out there that it's the machine will continue.
The machine will always continue, but it's the biggest challenge is the big strong guy on top that all of us want to be to become champion, to be the thing that the people fear the most, or the rest of the heavyweight fears the most, and they're gonna follow you. So, for me, it's a big challenge for him to stay there and make us work hard until we can beat him. You know, that's the most. That's the biggest challenge. But if he goes, you know how it is. It's sport. Sometimes it's go that way and then it comes back this way. If you watch his football, soccer, I mean, if you watch soccer, like many years Brazil was dominating the soccer world, and then suddenly it blows to Europe. And I think with fighting is the same thing.
No doubt, no doubt. We see it all the time. You know, every few years it just changes. The waves. It's like the ocean. Um, you know, Ngannou he's still with the UFC, so you know,
Yeah,
but it seems like he's injured. He has a knee injury. He's probably gonna get surgery, so he's not gonna fight until maybe the end of the year or maybe early
yeah,
next year. Do you think the UFC should make a interim title fight?
yeah, no doubt. I mean, let's not keep the division standing up. and let's roll. Let's the belt roll. Because you can't wait. As I mentioned earlier ago, we don't have many years in the MMA world, and while we're here, we want to make the best of it, and we always do our best to give the best performance. Because so if that's the case, they definitely should put it in them title.
Definitely, and money's good, but that championship money is a little bit different, right?
Better. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. If they do make an interim title fight, I think they will probably make one in the next couple of months. Does Stipe versus Jones make sense, or Stipe versus Tai Tuivasa? He just got a big win against Derek Lewis. What do you think they should do, or should they wait? Because there's a lot of big fights coming up in the heavyweight division.
In my opinion, all those guys should wait. Stipe, John Jones, been talking a lot about them, but they don't do nothing. Come and fight, and then you should earn your place. People that's been fighting, keeping the division running, those guys should get the shot for the interim title. And yeah, not people who's sitting around waiting and blah 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 all the time. Let's go. We working. Let's fight.
Yeah, and Ty, he's been fighting, he's been winning, so
Yeah,
he probably
correctly.
should. Do you think he should get a slot in the interim title fight? That should be him.
He might be. I will not point someone who should get it or who should not get it. You've been working, you're on top. The UFC know exactly what will bring the big hype again. And of course that fight John Jones Stipe make sense. It's gold versus gold, or or how you call it, how you call it, the heavyweight champion of all time, well, as they call it. It makes sense, but we've been fighting, we've been moving around, not sitting around. So we should get the chance first. The fighter who's the up and running, and not the fighters that sit around and say a lot of things. That's my opinion about that.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of good fights coming up in the heavyweight division, like yourself versus Marcin. Blades is fighting Dawkins. That's 4 versus 8. Volkov
Yeah,
6 versus
correct.
Aspinall. He's at 11. Whoever performs the best out of those guys could possibly get the slot for a title fight. Who knows?
That's what I mean. So that's my opinion about that.
All right, one last thing before I let you go. There's a lot of controversy surrounding Joe Rogan using the N word. You know what I mean? In the past, a lot of people call him racist. You know what I mean? He's been
Yeah.
doing it for a while. He did have an apology, but I just wanted to get your feelings on this situation with Joe Rogan.
Nah, I like Joe Rogan. I didn't see him use the N word, so I can't say nothing about it. I hear Issy was commenting something about Joe Rogan, so I went real quick to search what it was. I didn't see nothing, so love for that man. And if he does any apologize, so we should accept and go forward. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right, man. April 9th, UFC 273. Jacksonville, you don't even have to fly. You could drive, huh? You gonna drive too?
Correctly, correctly. I focus what is in front of me right now. I'm saying Tabura, April 9, and I want to go there and put down a crazy performance, a great performance for myself, for the MMA fan, and of course for my family and friends.